The Gina and Maddie podcast.
See, what's making me feel good is Dr. Shauna is in the house, and I feel like magic because I have been visiting Dr. Shauna, and what I've been doing here is trying to open up the conversation about menopause and perimenopause with the coast. And girls have been writing in questions and stuff. I'm sharing as much as I can that I'm learning from Dr. Shauna. Dr. Shauna tries to empower women to feel balanced, confident, supported during this difficult stage of life. Got a brilliant podcast called All About You with Dr. Shauna Watts, which you really should talk about. It focuses on health and wellness, conversations covering topics like mental health, fertility, nutrition, and heaps more for us girls going through menopause. Welcome to the station,
Good
Dr.
morning.
Shauna.
Good morning.
We are
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you're here today because we've been putting it out for the last couple of months, and lots of our girls are writing in saying, okay, we've got questions that we would like to ask Dr. Shauna when she comes back in. And one of the most asked questions, and Kate has written this one in on Facebook, why is menopause not more openly talked about?
Do you know, isn't it funny? I think that women's business has always been a bit of a taboo subject, and women maybe over the years traditionally have felt embarrassed to talk about the issues that they're going through. And perimenopause and menopause is often a period where women feel, you know, that they don't feel quite themselves. Perhaps they're gaining weight. They're losing confidence. They're worried about their relationship. They're not sleeping well. They're feeling irritable. And it's probably one of those things that whenever you're not feeling great, sometimes you don't want to share that. And then the problem is that people feel really super alone. So I think it's fantastic what you're doing, opening up the conversation. That's what I've been trying to do for the last few years so that it's not a taboo and people feel like, actually, you know what? My neighbour or my friend is probably feeling the same way.
My mum's generation, you know, they didn't talk about it all with with your girlfriends and stuff. I talk about it to my girlfriends all the time and share what a difference you've made to me. And what we're suggesting is go and see your doctor, have a blood test. You did a blood test on me and fix my hormones. I'm not even hot in the bed anymore. Like I've lost the hot flush thing, which is fantastic. I feel like $1 million. You know, you've helped me with my diet, my like taking supplements and all those kinds of things. And I feel like absolute magic. And this is the thing. There are answers out there. You don't have to put up with being hot all the time and being cranky. I did a story yesterday about husbands and was saying, look, it's not you. They're going through something medical. Don't take it personally, but try and make a difference and reach out to Dr. Shauna or your own doctor and we can fix it, right? You haven't got to live with this.
Absolutely. And I think that's been the whole thing that's been got wrong for so many years is that people think they kind of have to put up with it. And nearly there is often like a badge of honour where people feel like if they just do it naturally that somehow that's better. And then the people who feel like if they've had to take hormones, they feel somehow that they should feel some type of shame because they couldn't manage it naturally. And that's so wrong. You know, the reality is that, you know, this hormonal transition brings so many health implications for women. Even those women who sail through perimenopause and sail through menopause go on to have, you know, increased risks of heart disease, increased risks of osteoporosis, frailty, and even cognitive problems. And therefore, the reality is it natural? Like, is it something that we really want to have happen? And why do we have to put up with it?
Why?
There's so many things in life that we treat, like infections in theory are natural, but we still treat them. And childbirth is natural, but we still give people pain relief.
I've got glasses on right now.
Exactly.
You know, my eyesight's diminishing a little as I get older. Everyone's wearing glasses if that's happening. Why don't we fix menopause?
You know what? Walking in bare feet is natural, but we wear shoes.
Yes.
You know, they're not natural.
Yes.
But so I think we need to get over the whole thing of thinking it's not natural. Do whatever is right for you. Have a conversation. And I'm not here to say that everyone should take hormones. They're perhaps not right for everyone, but everyone deserves a conversation about taking hormones.
Yes. I love this conversation. We're going to keep it going. Can you stick around?
I can stick around.
Because we've got some more questions from our listeners for you.
Awesome.
Gina and Maddie.
Right now, we are talking with Dr. Shauna, a specialist in helping women navigate perimenopause and menopause. And I've been sharing my menopause journey openly because we are trying to get the conversation going with the girls. And we've had lots of our girls out there write in questions for you, Dr. Shauna. So I've got a couple from Facebook. Juana from Facebook has written, this one's a bit tricky to say, how do I get my girl bits back in action? Horny goatweed, which is a vitamin supplement thing, is useless, and I can't do HRT due to breast cancer in the past.
Okay, so I presume we're talking about vulva, vagina, feeling dry, uncomfortable and sore. And of course, if it feels like that, you're not going to feel very much like having an intimate relationship. This is incredibly common. And what I will say is for the vast majority of women, even those who've had breast cancer, they can safely take vaginal hormones.
Okay.
So please go and talk to your doctor. As I say, the absolute vast majority of women, even those who've had breast cancer, can take vaginal hormones, and they're life-changing.
Yes.
So there's a thing called genitourinary syndrome of menopause, very long name. Check out my podcast. There's lots of episodes on there. But the reality is that it can cause so many issues for women: recurrent urinary tract infections, vulvovaginal prolapse, and a lot of discomfort. Sometimes even wearing clothing is uncomfortable. And it is so easy to fix.
Fantastic. So, Juana, you can go and see your doctor and deal with that. And I've heard you on your podcast call it skincare for down there.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a great way of saying it. I hope that helped you out, Juana. Kylie got in touch with us on Instagram, and she's asked a question: Is tinnitus also a symptom of menopause, and can a frozen shoulder really be related to menopause?
Yes, she is absolutely right.
Really?
It is honestly feels crazy, but the symptoms are from top to toe. Tinnitus is actually quite a common one, also with vertigo sometimes as well, and it drives people potty, and it is amazing.
Wow.
Sometimes you start hormones and it settles. So it's amazing. Frozen shoulder. When I think back in my career as a GP, which has been over 20 years, I think, how many men have I seen with a frozen shoulder? And honestly, I went, none.
Really?
Wow. Gosh, I've never seen any. And I'm sure there are men who have frozen shoulders, but it is a disproportionate issue for middle-aged women. So we now believe that it is related to loss of estrogen around that joint capsule. And again, we're seeing lots of improvement even in people who've got like plantar fasciitis. A lot of middle-aged women get plantar fasciitis. They're trying insoles, they're trying all sorts of things. And we put them on HRT and it improves.
One of my best friends who is a keen follower of your podcast, Katrina, up in Queensland, she was at a doctor. She thought that she had something wrong with her brain, and she was beside herself worrying. She was so forgetful, and she'd done all of this stuff with that doctor, chasing that. She went on all the hormones, and she said she'd be driving and she'd forget where she was driving, and everything was going wrong, and she was really, really very worried that she had something wrong with her brain. She went on all the hormones and stuff. She is back to her old self. She's a absolute. I'm not saying if you obviously see your doctor about your own thing, but when you say it's a whole body thing, it's not just the hot sweats and the moodiness and stuff. It's so much more than just that, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I have women come in every single day crying that they think they've got dementia.
Yes.
They're often maybe looking after an older parent, and that's freaking them out.
Yeah.
Or they think they've got a brain tumour, and it's all related to menopause. I don't know if there's been this quite viral video of a woman having a hot flush and her head steaming.
Yeah, I've seen
and she's
that.
at like a sports game. But after that, they did some studies and they actually looked at people's brains, and there are massive changes going on in the brain during a hot flush.
Yeah.
So I think the reality is this is something that we want to do something about, because it is impacting our brains, and it's probably not good just to let it go.
Yes. Oh, Dr. Shauna, it's so lovely to have you in here. So if you're listening and any of this is you, see your doctor or go and see Dr. Shauna, and we can sort this out. We don't have to put up with all this stuff, girls. Dr. Shauna, thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome. I could talk to you all day.
Oh, me too.
Listen to Gina and Maddie weekday mornings from 5:30.
Live on the Star Player.